Hi, today we are going to be reviewing Six Flags Magic Mountain Scream Break.
Not Spring Break, but Scream Break.
I'm Kim.
I'm Brad.
We're 6260 Haunted, California. So last night we went to the third night of the event. This is the first year that it's ever being offered.
Yeah, it has an interesting new after hours event to the parks. So let's go ahead and get into it. First thing we need to know is the price.
So it was $39.99 for the night that we went. That's the lowest cost. And that is from 7:30 until midnight, and it included parking.
Yeah, it was kind of weird when we parked in. There was nobody at the gate. We just kind of drove through and parked.
So everything else was like blocked off, and there was a green light, but nobody was in the booth. Like it was shut down.
Yeah.
So we just drove in and got our spot.
So that was kind of a confusing thing that I just kind of want to say because we were confused when we were driving through. We're like, nobody's there. Okay. Second thing is that we did get to the gate a little bit earlier than 7:30.
I think it was like 7:20.
Yeah, and they let us in with no problems. Okay.
Okay, so we went through the turnstiles, and I asked if they had a map, and they said no, but they basically said everything from the water fountains to the right is open tonight, everything to the left is closed.
Yeah, and they also will give you a wristband so they can tell you from the regular day crowd to the other crowd. Another thing to know, if you are a season pass holder, that you can be able to go to this event, I believe once per pass, but you do have to go to customer service or to the event selling passes to be able to get your tickets to go that day.
They had a booth inside that you could line up at, and basically it's until quantities are sold out. I have heard a rumor it's about 1,000 pass holders per night, so I don't know if that's true or not. So interestingly enough, the day guests are still there until 8 o'clock when the park closes. There's that like half hour over gap for rides and everything. So we kind of made a mistake at that point.
Yeah, we got to the first roller coaster we saw, which was
Full Throttle. And that has a really slow loading time, so I think we would have been better off trying a different coaster.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think as everybody was on the way out of the park, we're trying to get that last ride in, and especially with their Flash Pass, there was a lot of people running to get that last ride in there, and it actually backed us up a bit farther. It took us, it said, about a half hour, 45 minutes when we looked at the app. Well, it literally took us about an hour and 20 minutes to get through the line.
That was a huge difference. And anyways, so after that, we decided to go check out the mazes, and there's 2 of them. We had to show our event band, and then we walked in.
Yeah, so you had the 2 different mazes, and there were lines for this right when they first opened them, and those mazes opened at 9 o'clock.
So the first maze that we went to was the Vault 666 Initiation.
And that was
scarier.
It was one of the more scarier ones. It was interesting. Because we are so used to Universal Studios Hollywood's mazes that it kind of threw us for a minute.
But actually, the scare actors were phenomenal.
Yeah, they were great when we went through it. We had a lot of fun. It was a lot brighter than I imagined for a maze like that. But really, it worked. They pulled it off.
And then next we went over to the Condemned house party.
Yeah, and actually, in my opinion, this was the best one.
Absolutely. This is kind of like a frat party gone wrong.
That's been going on for a long time for everybody that's dead.
And it's quite a mess.
Yep, there's some cockroaches on the tables and stuff. What is interesting about this first night, after you get through one of the main rooms, you're actually going to have to bend down and get underneath this area.
So if you have back problems or something like that, this maze might be a little troublesome for you.
Yeah, it might be hard because I actually had to get down quite a bit, and I was like, oh. But we did go through, and the interesting thing, we did go through this twice. And one time we went through one area. The second time we went through it, we had a scare actor point us through the wall.
And we actually thought, like, are we mistaken? Are we being set up? Because the wall was like this big.
Yeah.
It was really, if you're claustrophobic, that could be a problem. They probably still let you go through the other area, like if you're like, I'm claustrophobic or something. But it kind of like threw us all for a second.
So you got different routes, and actually I saw there could have been a third route that was open too on the other side. So we were like, okay, this is interesting.
So it might change your experience if you go through twice.
But really, it is like a frat party of the dead.
That's perfectly way to describe that.
It was fun. You had actors like, dude, it smells in here, and things like that. It was a good time. It was fun.
Good music.
You can tell all the scare actors were having such a great time doing this too.
So, and of course, as you can tell from our video, I I had lots of screams, and yes, I am one of those person, when I get scared, I scream, it's real, and they got me good.
And let's talk about teenagers going through this.
Okay, so we had our teen son with us.
Really? I don't think there'd be any problem.
No, not at all.
Funny thing is we actually saw kids in strollers.
Yeah, they turned away the strollers, but the parents were going to try and take the kids in strollers.
So that might be a little too young. But I say you might be, if you're middle school teens or a little bit more can handle scary movies and stuff, this shouldn't be a big issue.
This seems like a very tame. This was more of the whole event had a very spring break party versus like zombie type atmosphere.
Well, definitely not as dark as any of the Halloween stuff you see, but really, when you get into that courtyard or that one scare zone, right where all the bases are, the scare actors there are so awesome. We actually had them come up, talk to us, and they were going on. I mean, they were having a good time, and I've never really seen it that. I guess
it was really a party atmosphere. It really took that spring break vibe meets Halloween vibe. So this was a very different, fun event. There was a lot of dance parties. We don't know the names of scare zones necessarily because there was no map.
Yeah, we'll get a little bit to that in here in a little bit. But they did have 2 DJ zones. They had one right when you got in first to the park with the big torch going up and everything else. And really, that one kind of got overlooked, I think, a little bit.
I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they were playing great music. It was great. And then the second one, well, it's farther down the path. But so after you go through all that scare zones, you'll actually take a path down towards past Goliath, and you're headed down all the way down towards.
You're going down towards like Scream and Wonder Woman, kind of back in that area.
So on that pathway, there's one scare zone there, which was kind of a cool, and that was more darker path zone. But there was that house that was there, or the stage that was there.
Yeah, but I also feel like for that one, there was the walk-through zone to get from one area to where the more of the roller coasters were. I feel like they used a lot more fog. Like that was a little more eerie.
Yeah, that was a little bit more creepy and more scary. They had the Bear Country Theater, which I think it was a kind of a missed opportunity. It was really cool looking at it. And the fog coming out and everything, but there was nothing.
And there was lights, and it was eerie, and it was almost abandoned in that area. Like, nobody was around. And both Brad and I were like, wow, they could have done like a stage show. They could have done something with that area. This is the first year of the event, so I have a feeling they're testing and trying new things out. But I feel like in the future, that would be a great area to develop.
Yeah. So we went through this other scare zone, which was fun. I mean, they did a really good job. You had people pump on stilts coming out at you and everything else. It was, I really liked it. And again, they were having a lot of fun in those areas.
Oh, absolutely. Even the scare actors, they were dancing, interacting, they were scaring, making little growling noises. Honestly, the scare actors at this event were amazing. They were over the top, fun. Like, couldn't pick a better bunch of scare actors for this type of event. So I think another one of the things about this event is they kind of had their little bar area too. So we'll talk about food and drinks.
Yep.
So the bar, they had Jello shots, they had blood bags of sangria.
Yeah, and that is over in right by the mazes. So you'll have those there. It's
nice. It's themed, so it's kind of fun to have something different.
Yeah. As far as the food, it was
different because you had to look for the event-specific food. It wasn't on a map. There was nothing on the app. So you really had to, like, look out for yourself.
Yeah, and so it's kind of whatever was open and didn't. They had a few things here, like saw a hot dog that they had for a special. Towards the very front of the park, they had a menu that had a few special scary items on it.
Yeah, it was like a mac and cheese, and also they had a drink.
So those are one of those things, really, truthfully, and our opinion is we're glad we ate dinner before we went.
Right, because if I had put beforehand, the website described an event for a foodie, so I was like, oh, we'll try some snacks or something kind of fun. It really wasn't there for that. They did have ice cream, but it was 39 degrees, so ice cream was not exactly something that we wanted, but there wasn't like any specialty, I don't know, like churros or anything like that might have been that in between.
So really for the foodie wise,
it was like a regular day with 2 or 3 specials thrown in or throughout the park, so you had to like hunt and peck to find them.
Okay, so another thing to be aware of is when you're at the park, they only take credit card. There is no cash. If you need to use cash, they do have machines that will convert it into like a temporary credit card thing. So it's something to be aware of when you go.
But that's the same during the day. It's not unique to this event.
While we're talking about some of our cons, our biggest con is one of the things that we really wish they did, and what we were talking about. There is no map to this event.
Right. Even if they would have had something on the app that was for the event, that would have been great. It's something that probably would have been pretty easy to do. Like we said, this is first year. I think they're going to hear back some, they're going to ask people's opinion, do surveys, things like that. So I expect that will probably change. And also there was no wait times for the rides, so you had no idea. But most of the rides were like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, and that is getting into the biggest pros. Really, that most of those rides were 10 minutes long after the day guests have left. You could have gone through the mazes and got through all the open roller coasters they had without an issue. We got through, well, what, 5 or 6?
Yeah, we did. And honestly, we probably could have gotten more.
Yep.
So I really think into this event, the longest line for the houses were at the beginning of the night. So I would hold off till later to go, and then they were pretty much walk-in.
Yeah, truthful is that we looked after we got out done with the mazes at 9:30. There was a very short line at that time. At 11 o'clock, when we went back through the lines, went through again, there was no lines. We walked right through.
Now, this event was, I was a little shocked. There wasn't that many people there for this type of event. I figured Halloween, spring break, this would really get people excited. I don't know if a lot of people just didn't know because it's the first year.
But the parks were, it was empty. I mean, I'm showing you right now the kind of the views. It was amazing how many, there was not anybody there.
Yeah, it was cold, and so the weather might have played a factor into why there weren't a whole lot of people there. People left early. It was crazy.
So that could factor into your wait times and everything else in the park. But for us, as far as we're concerned, it was great.
Yeah, it was like almost like having the park to ourselves at the end. We walked, I think one of the longest lines is once again Hayden went and rode, our son rode full throttle again, and that was a long wait. And I think it's just because of the way they have to, there's so few.
They got 2 carts loading and
yeah.
then it's actually just a time consuming process.
Yeah.
But that was the longest wait of the night for most of them. Most of them were 5-10 minutes. You're right on. So
we walked on to Wonder Woman. I think it was 10 minutes or less. We went on, what was the other one? Oh, Colossus was like a 10, 15 minute wait. I feel like that one was a little bit more of a wait. And then Scream wasn't bad either. So I feel like all these rides, even if you didn't go for the Halloween, this would be like having a flash pass during the day. It's normally anywhere from $80 to $180.
And plus, you don't have to pay regular admission. $40 to go to an event like this.
Well, $39.99.
Okay, I forgot the penny. Go to an event like this. We feel that this is well worth it if you really like roller coasters and you're into Halloween. I mean, you got both mixes here.
Well, and also a day pass is $69.99, so $30 more, and you have to pay for parking during the day. So you had less lines, complimentary parking. You had the entertainment, and it was amazing for the price. I was really impressed.
Yeah, so really, if you want to do all this stuff and save money, go to this. Really, it's great, even if you don't like the scary stuff.
Yeah, even if you just went on the coasters, this is a pretty good deal. Now, not every coaster is open in the park. You don't have X2, you don't have Viper, you don't have some of those bigger other that are on the left side of the park. But I mean, you had Wonder Woman open.
Yeah, it was great, and really, Hayden went last summer to Magic Mountain, and he didn't get nearly the amount of rides that we got in here. So for us, it is a yes. Go. It
was a win.
It was a win. Go to it. Have a good time.
Honestly, everybody that was there, all the staff was incredible. They were friendly, interactive. Like, it was a really good atmosphere. It was really upbeat. I feel like they were really excited to have this event. Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they'll have it more in the futures, and we'll start seeing annual Scream breaks. So if you're finding this video helpful,
please like,
subscribe,
and follow along with our Ohana.
Like we said, this is an event that we hope becomes an annual event as Scream Break 2, The Revenge. So with that, I think it's time for us to say goodbye and
find your magic. Bye, everyone.
Kappa Alpha Phi. Party until we die. Come on. You already know. You know where the party box at? Come see Cuddy if you want to get lit. Come on.